Thursday this week, I joined the hundreds of thousands of Kenyans who tuned in to watch Deputy President William Ruto being interviewed by Linus Kakai, or was it Lenus Kakai? A wonderful interview with its own challenges, including some people saying it was a little boring, but I think it was a good interview. I noticed something during the interview that will form the basis of my video this week. Without being an expert in the body language, I noticed there was something about William Samoei Ruto. He looked deflated. The confidence had gone. The vigor, the energy normally associated with him was clearly and visibly lacking. Then I got thinking, what could be happening? And the conclusion I arrived at was that Ruto has received a beating. He's not the same confident Ruto that has been running around the country. And therefore, I tried to find out what could have happened that would actually have made Ruto remain, to excuse the cliche, a pale shadow of himself. And certainly, many things have happened to produce the Ruto that I watched on Citizen TV this Thursday. The beaten Ruto must have been a product of thorough beating that he has gone through. Of course, the latest in the past few months being Uhuru coming out in the open to say negative things about Ruto, to come out in the open and attack him, and even to say that he doesn't believe Ruto should succeed. Hiding, I think, in the Kikuyu and the Kalenjin, having had their share of the presidency and therefore another community. Basically, Uhuru was saying he does not support Ruto's bid in 2022. But even before that, a number of things have happened. You could say a number of things have conspired to give Ruto the beating he has received, to produce the Ruto who was deflated, who lacked confidence. You could begin with the cabinet, where a number of his associates were kicked out of the cabinet. Of course, you would remember Rotich, Bet, and the rest. You could then go to the Jubilee Party and see the treatment his people have received in the Jubilee Party. The latest, of course, being Kositani, being jettisoned out of the party, deputy secretary position. A party in which Raphael Tuju reigns supreme, in which Ruto's people have received a beating. You could then move to Parliament and see that Ruto's people were removed from committee positions, from leadership positions in both the National Assembly and Senate. You are talking of Duale being removed as the leader of government, a powerful position, after a host of others had been removed. You could then proceed and go on and see the beating Ruto received in BBI, when all but 3 counties, except for 3 counties, 43 counties, and I think there's one that didn't vote or something like that, including counties from Ruto's strongholds, all voted for BBI. And then finally, the by-elections. Any keen observer of Kenya's political scene must have seen that after the loss in Kabuchai, Matungu, and Machakos, especially Machakos, the confidence levels dropped to levels that produced the Ruto we saw on Citizen TV. And in fact, a number of his followers must be having second thoughts. And did not stop there. There is talk of people leaving him. Others like Didymus Barasa have already left. So the confidence in the Ruto camp has dipped so low that you could evidently see it. And why could this be happening? It's happening because reality is dawning on some of his supporters that the Ruto they thought was a tough man may actually not be as tough as they thought. Indeed, the one politician that every Kenyan will not fail to appreciate as a marathoner, because politics requires marathoners, not Usain Bolt. The one politician that many Kenyans admire in terms of the stamina remaining on the track was the late Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. President Moi never tired even for a minute. Next after Moi was Raila Amolo Odinga. He has been running the marathon. 2005 referendum, 2007, 2013, 2017, and when we thought he was finished, in 2018 he was out with a swearing in Uhuru Park to give him a new lease of life. He was with a handshake. And now, as we all know, he's dancing reggae. And everybody in the country is dancing reggae with Raila Odinga, a marathoner. Many had hoped and believed that the next person to be considered as a marathoner would have been William Samoei Ruto. I think we were wrong. It turns out Ruto was actually a sprinter, like Usain Bolt. Somewhere in Homa Bay or Migori, I heard Gideon Kipsele Moi saying some people are dancing themselves lame. Wakati guitar inakuwa tuned to just tuning the guitar, and people like Ruto were dancing. I think there's an element of truth. And the Ruto therefore that we saw on that interview, during that interview, was a Ruto who is a sprinter that has run out of oxygen. And I very much doubt that come 2022, we will have a confident Ruto running. At a time like this, I almost believe Francis Atwoli, that 22 Ruto may not be on the ballot. He may not be on the ballot, not because anybody will have stopped him, but because he may have come to the realization that he doesn't have what it takes to run in 2022. And if you look at it seriously, you could see there's a possibility of that. Even slips of the tongue, as psychologists tell us, are very, very powerful. During that interview, he talked of if I ran. He said, if I became president. Very conditional. Not the confident Ruto, who came out in the same manner Philip Murugo came out yesterday during the interview for Chief Justice. When I become Chief Justice. So the Ruto that has been talking confidently about being president in 2022 is now throwing doubts unintentionally, using if. And I don't blame him. The political ecosystem, as we move towards 2022, doesn't seem to favor him. If you have eyes open, look at IBC, look at the gazettemen for coming in. Do you know who they will be? Look at the JSC. Do you know who will be the Chief Justice? Look at many factors that don't seem to favor him. But finally, I think the thing that breaks William Samoei Ruto, finally, must be the realization, coming late, because I had pointed out this and I've done so many times. It is a realization and now the knowledge that banking on Mount Kenya was a mistake. It was a bad gamble. William Samoei Ruto must have by now have come to the conclusion the vote from the mountain is slippery. As slippery as the liver the late John Michuki talked about, juggling the liver. He must have realized talking of the Kikuyu vote was like juggling a liver. It slips from the hands. And that is what is breaking Ruto. Because this morning I can be sure and I can share with you Kenyans, and I've said it before, the mountain vote will either go where Uhuru will direct it. If you don't believe it, go back to Sagana. If you don't believe it, see that all the 10 Mount Kenya counties, without exception, all of them voted for BBI, without exception. If you are still doubting, that is your problem. So it's quite likely that Uhuru Kenyatta, and popular in the mountain as he may be now, could direct these people to where he wants. Whether to Mudavadi or to Raila is another issue. There is also a distinct possibility, and I've said this repeatedly, that the mountain vote will not go to Ruto because it will belong to the mountain. Because the mountain people could produce their own person, especially seeing what's going on now. So the realization and the knowledge that the Kikuyu vote is not his must have had a toll on William Samoei Ruto. And therefore, as he goes towards 2022, I have no doubt in my mind that Ruto is wobbling, is limping, and if he insists on running, he may just be among the ones we call others, a wannabe, because his tire, his political tire is punctured. And that was evident on the TV show or during the interview. I think, therefore, if I were William Samoei Ruto, and I've said this repeatedly, take stock, retreat. Intelligent, good generals have retreated and come back to win major wars. Major battalions, major wars. The time for William Samoei Ruto to retreat and save his energy and his troops to fight in another war, perhaps in 2027, 2032, is now.